Hey race fans, welcome to Saturday, which is also Championship Saturday here at the Kokomo Speedway in Kokomo, Indiana, where we have 2 nights of SmackDown in. It's also pretty good racing. Night 1, last night, Mr. KTJ, Kevin Thomas Jr. pulls the victory. Very popular one at that. He was here, he won the SmackDown one year when I was here, at 17. So good for him. So, well, you probably noticed I got a couple of people here with me. The 2 young men to my right and left are probably very familiar to you if you watch any kind of USAC racing. We've got Drake York and Mitchell Berkeley. And of course, Drake is the on-air personality. He's the one who goes ahead and gives your interviews and all that. And Mitchell is the brains behind the operation because he does the camera work and the audio vision. So Drake, I'm going to start with you. Tell us just a little bit how you got into this, how long you've been in racing, how you got this job, things like that.
It's a long story. I started when I was 5 out in California, okay. Just doing local stuff and stuff like that. I worked at Cycling Speedway where Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet grew up racing. Right. I worked there for about 5 years, and I moved to Indiana a few years back and got in touch with Rob Klepper, and in the, I guess it would have been the off season of 19, he called me up and said, hey, you know, we got an opportunity. It's not much on air, but it'll get your foot in the door, and you know, things just worked out one way or another where it opened up for me to get a spot on air, and this is my 3rd year at USAC, which is hard to believe.
You're only, what, 18 years old?
Yeah, I just turned 18 this year.
You just turned 18, and I've been watching you for, I say, for at least 2 years. I wrote down in my book, so you're a pretty youngster when you started.
Yeah, I feel old. I'm like, this is like my 12th year or something like that. I think 2010 was the first time I hopped on a mic.
Racing is like dog years.
It is.
People don't realize that's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
But you worked with Rob Klepper. Rob's been on our show a few times. He's a great guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he, like I said, he came on. We interviewed him on the show one night, and we actually did a person-to-person interview with Clyde Martin.
Okay.
The were there, so he has had a lot of good insights. So you know, you're doing this. I guess you just got out of high school.
Yeah. In May.
In May, yeah. But you did some high school broadcasting too, right? Did you do some games?
Yeah. So I went to Brownsburg High School, and they have a really good program. Mr. Good has put in years and years, as well as many other people, to make that program what it is. It's won a few state awards, and so I had no knowledge in sports. Like, racing has been my life since I was about 4 days old. Right. And I had no knowledge of sports, but like I said, when I came out here, I didn't have much going on until I got hired by USAC, so I had to kind of learn that stuff. And this year, obviously, I graduated, and it was a student program I'm in, but I may do some volunteer work for them this year, just trying to stay sharp.
Always stay on the game.
Oh, yeah.
And you also now, you're kind of branched out a little bit. You used to do like the heat winter things and that, but now they're giving you like Drake Discovers and other things like that, where you get a little segment of your own. Not only during the race, but like before the race and after the race. You're doing a little bit of discovery. I know you were at the museum.
Yeah.
Check out some old IndyCar stuff.
Yeah, the Drake Discover stuff's been fun. Chet came into our show obviously this year, and he said, all right, what do we want to do? We want more stuff. I'm like, I have an idea. I don't know how well it's going to turn out, right. But yeah, it's been fun. We're going to come out with a SmackDown festivities video. We haven't decided on a name yet, but it'll be part of Drake Discovers, and that stuff's been fun. And you know, Christy and I, you know, we've worked together now for 3 years. And so we kind of know how each other one works, and we, you know, okay, Christy does this, Drake will handle that, no problem. So just stuff like that, you know, you get in a rhythm, especially as much as we race. Right. You definitely figure stuff out.
Now, you've got all this neat stuff going on. However, without this guy, none of you would see it. Mitchell Berkeley. Mitch, how you doing? Thanks for coming by.
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good. Now, you're a Colorado guy.
Yeah.
Yep. And we were talking a bit last night. Did you do any racing before you got this? I know you're a musician.
Yeah, so basically me and my older brother, we raced quarter midgets from when I was 5 years old, maybe. Yeah. And so yeah, that's kind of how we got started in racing and everything, and just basically born into it.
And how'd you get this gig?
So it basically all started with my brother. When he was running quarter midgets, he got this little red camera. You know, I remember it looked like an iPod or something. Right. And he put it on his race car, and that led to him getting a small little handheld camera and going to the local dirt track and filming videos. And then I remember Knoxville Raceway. They were hiring for their infield camera gig. So they sent in an application and everything, and he got hired by Knoxville and did that for a year. That led to him going to World of Outlaws, being their producer. And then that led to him getting picked up by USAC. And so it was 2019 when he started with USAC, and he basically told me, like, hey, you want to come out for a week and hang out? You can maybe run our infield camera and try it out for us. And so I did that and ran it for a week. I think it was Mid-America Midget Week in 2019. And they asked me to stick around for Sprint Week, and did 2019 Sprint Week and went home. And ever since then, I've been coming back every summer.
Good deal.
Yeah.
You must be having fun at it.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun.
Now you guys are young guys, really young. You mean I put your ages together on a calculator just a little bit ago, and I still have 23 years on you. So that's how old I am. I'm believe it or not, these guys are like 5 or 6 years old. So that's
yeah.
But now you go places, you know, you go out. When you go, like I always like to ask this, when you go somewhere, say you're going to, say you came to Pennsylvania. Is there some places you like to go to, like go eat at, or you just kind of like get there and like relax and go get some lunch?
So it's funny you mentioned that, because last year was my first tour through Pennsylvania. Only thing I knew about was, you know, the Posse and some Williams Grove, Port Royal. I watch all that stuff all the time.
You got a lot more than that going on.
And I got hooked up with an iRacing series this last winter, and like half the crew that does the broadcast for this iRacing series I work on is from Pennsylvania. So they're like, Drake, we're going to this place for lunch. I'm like, is it good? They're like, oh yeah, it's the best. Like, I can't remember all the names off the top of my head, but now the nice thing is about being on this tour for a little bit, you kind of start to figure stuff out like that. So there's a lot of places I got to hit when I come back to Pennsylvania. But like here, there's a root beer stand just down the road. I'll probably go. I'll go there for lunch today. So just stuff like that. It's you know, it's one part of traveling you got to figure out, you know, real quick, because fast food, you get tired of it pretty quick.
We do the same thing. We travel quite a bit, and we have places like we have places in Florida we like to go. In Tulsa we like to go. We go here. We drive out to Elwood to the Tin Plate. That sponsors Isaac Chapel. They got great stuff. And what about you, young man? What do you like to do? Follow him around or what?
Yeah,
basically. Your own thing.
Basically, I don't really know any restaurants, but when he does a Drake Discovers or something, finds a good restaurant, it's always good.
I gotta ask you, Sheetz or Wawa?
Ooh, I'm more of a Wawa guy personally.
Go. Man, that's my own heart.
Now, don't get me wrong, Sheetz is good, and Rudders is good too.
Rudders is coming up.
The peanut butter chocolate milk.
Thank you.
That already got me started on that in Pennsylvania. I had like 10 of them.
Every time they just built the Rudders near our house, because we have a lot of Wawas and a couple Sheetz, but they just put the Rudders up. And I was like, man, I took it to my wife. I said, this peanut butter chocolate milk is like illegal.
It is.
So what are what's your plans? Do you want to keep doing this? Do you want to go and work on Sundays somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, the USAC, what's funny, as a kid, like, you know, I'd watch all the live pedal videos, and Speed Shift was big back when I was growing up, and I'm like, man, if I could just make it to USAC by the time I'm 20, I feel like my career would, yeah, my first race I was 15, so, and now, you know, you get out and you meet all these people. IndyCar is where I'd really like to end up. I'd love to do the Indianapolis 500, even only once. That's kind of on my horizons, but you know, if I could stay in USAC for a long time too, I would be extremely happy to do that.
Yeah, I look at announcers. I've been around a long time. I've heard a lot of announcers like, you know, and before we had the streaming stuff and that, it was basically your guide to track. You know, you had it. And like then we started getting, you know, NASCAR got big in the 80s and 90s, and of course Bob Jenkins, you know, is the dean. Bob Jenkins is here, and everybody else is striving to get to Bob Jenkins. You know, it's just one of those guys. But yeah, I can see that. You've got the chops for it. You've got the personality. I think you can do well in the car.
Thank you.
And you're a musician.
Yeah.
So you could go either way. You could play music, or you could stick with the racing deal.
That's my main dream, is to hopefully be in a famous rock band, playing guitar, or even working on a production like I'm doing now for music. But you know, if nothing music works out, I don't know if I want to go anywhere else but USAC. I'd rather probably stay here than do anything else.
There you go. Yeah. So you got a lot out. You guys have a lot out of it. You can go with your talent that way. He can do things I can't do. He can play music.
Exactly.
You know, I can play the stereo. That's about it. My iPad. Hey, you know what, guys? I know you're busy. I really appreciate you coming down to the campsite and giving us a couple words. And I want to thank you.
Yeah, our pleasure, man.
We'll keep checking out you guys. I'm sure we'll bump into each other again. But hey, Rich Reinhardt, Lowdown Entertainment. Lowdown Entertainment headquarters west in Kokomo, Indiana. Got Drake York, Mitchell Berkeley. Thanks a lot for watching. We're gonna have more coverage today. We've got the kickball game coming up, so check for that. So, hey, thanks a lot. Have a good day. Take a friend to the races.